what about, the end of All My Children? 41 years. Were you shocked when you heard about this? How does that, I mean, that must feel like that's a hard thing after that many years.
I was shocked. I think we all were shocked. Uh, there have been rumors about maybe our moving. We moved to LA for the last 2 years, and we were told that if we made that move, we would save the show.
Right.
And we believed that. And also, I had the book that you referenced in that nice introduction you gave me had just come out, and I was on the book tour, and I was all over the country, and everywhere I went, everywhere, the fans were amazing, passionate, amazing, huge crowds. It was wonderful. So I could go back to the All My Children studio and tell our cast and crew what I had just seen, that there was so much love for our show. The numbers had not diminished at all. So anyhow, when it happened, we were all pretty shocked. Agnes actually called me around 4 o'clock in the morning, and she gave me a heads up on it. She had just been given a heads up on it. And so
Wow.
when I went to the studio that morning, we were in LA at that time. When I went to the studio that morning, I was called shortly after I arrived to go down to the executive producer's office. And then I was told, what was going on by the head of ABC Daytime at the time, Brian Franz, told me, and Julie Crothers was sitting there, just the three of us in the room. He told me that they were going to, All My Children was no longer going to be on the air, and One Life to Live was no longer going to be on the air, that he was doing cooking shows. At least that's what was going to replace us. And it would be much less expensive to produce, 40% less to produce. So that's
Wow.
why he was making his decision. So I was really shocked. I was very upset for everyone. I mean, this was really an ensemble, meaning the crew as well, and the writers and the executives, the production staff, everybody. And so I felt bad on so many levels. Also, it seemed so unnecessary and so uncalled for, given what I had just been experiencing all around the country.
Right.
In fact, those fans crashed the ABC computer system, trying to voice their displeasure, to say the least, at having All My Children canceled. And I know that for a fact because Agnes told me that the number to call. And so I did. And the message said to voice your upset at having All My Children canceled, press 1. For all other ABC business, press blah, 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 blah. So it was huge.
Wow.
But we were all very, very shocked. It was really a mourning period. We were very angry too, very angry. And then you go into, there's shock and disbelief and denial and just wanting to keep on putting a good show on,
Yeah, especially when there was so much love from the fans as you were traveling around.
Yes.
Once you get over like the shock and the loss and that period, then did you turn to like, now, I mean, you are Susan Lucci, like, do you turn to like, I'm worried, like I need a job, I still want to work, I've got more in me, or, I mean, it worked out, you got Devious Maids pretty quickly, but did you go through that? Like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Or you're like, hey guys, it's 41 years. You know what? I could hang out for a few years and recover. And like, that's a long time to work nonstop.
That actually, it never occurred to me that it was a long time to work nonstop until COVID, until had this pause, until we went into lockdown. I didn't know what a pause was until then. And now I look back and I think, oh, wow. I mean, we really were on roller skates.
Yeah.
I mean, Jill Larson, who played Opal, and I would cross, everybody's in hair and makeup and running around costume fittings, and they're calling our names on the loudspeaker and to go to the set. And I would see Jill in the distance and she would say, "Hi, I love you. We can't make eye contact. We'd love to talk, but we have to go." There was no time. And that was too much, And I remember saying to my agent at one point, "Wow, I'd love to just find a balance." And she said to me, "Oh, you want a balance too. Oh." So I heard recently, actually, the wonderful woman CEO of PepsiCo say that it's impossible as a working mother, wife, to find balance, but it is a constant juggling act, and that it is. But apart from that, in terms of wanting to continue as an actress, I was thrilled to meet with Marc Cherry. I was thrilled that he said, well, I didn't know. The fans, again, were all over the internet saying they wanted me to go on Desperate Housewives. And we met. And he said, I know. He said, I know they do. But he said, it is, you don't know this, but it's the last season. It's already written and it's already shot. But he said, I have a new show coming up. And so he thought of me for that.
What was that like when you first read the part for Geneviève Delatour?
Thank you for remembering that name. I thought to myself, if I'm going to follow Erica Kane, Geneviève Delatour is a pretty good name, at least. And I went out to read for Marc because that's part of, I went out to LA to read for Marc and the producer. And that's part of his process, which I get. It's one thing to like someone's work, and it's another thing to know if you can work together and how that will be. And so I was in their offices, and I didn't know how he was going to pronounce it. I mean, I was just reading. Nobody told me it was Geneviève. I thought, is it Genevieve? How is that going to be? And I walked into his office, and before we did the scene, he and the stage manager and I did the scene. He said, well, Geneviève, blah, blah, and Geneviève. I said, oh, Marc, you have just told me so much about this character just by the way you pronounce her name. It was a great experience. I loved doing it. And I thought I loved this so much that even if I don't get the part at the end of the day, I loved doing this. It was so much fun.
Another great part, right? Geneviève was phenomenal. I mean, the whole show, again, great cast, total ensemble, but Geneviève was just a fan favorite right from the beginning.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to that surprised me about Erica too, because Erica was the naughty girl in town, and I liked her. I thought I wanted to play her, but I didn't know if anybody else would. I was only supposed to be on every other Tuesday in the beginning, just to stir the pot. But yeah, the fans embraced her, and yes, they embraced Geneviève, which was great.
If Geneviève and Erica gotten like a tassel of some sort, it's not physical, just like a power of wits, who would win? Who's better at manipulating?
Well, first of all, it might have been physical, but Erica would have won. I think she was the one who had the street smarts too. Geneviève more was living in a Beverly Hills bubble behind the gates, and Zoila was the realist, and Geneviève was just, in her own world.
And, there's all this talk today with all these shows about like diversity and inclusion. And like so many shows have come so far. You look at like Shonda Rhimes and Ryan Murphy, but, I mean, it wasn't 20 years ago, but Devious Maids, I put in the category of a show that was technically ahead of its time.
Yes, I agree with you. And in the case of at least Geneviève and Zoila, Zoila was the one with all the intelligence about how you live your life. It was Geneviève who was out there.
Zoila really ran that house, didn't she?
Oh, she sure did. She sure did. But I have to say, one of my favorite scenes I ever got to play was the opening scene of Geneviève under the bed in her mansion, crying because she felt like she was losing her life, and her son and daughter, well, not her daughter, but Zoila's daughter, and Zoila had to talk her off a ledge.
That was a classic scene.